A lot of clothing brand owners, especially in the beginning stages of their brand, tend to overcomplicate the marketing aspect of running their clothing brand. A lot of clothing brand owners think they need to have some great, huge marketing scheme in order to drive consistent sales or traffic to their website, which I think this is not really the case because it really just takes three content types, which I'm going to show you in this video, to actually like scale your brand, get consistent traffic, demand, sales, whatever you want. If you focus on these three types of content, I guarantee you, if you do them well, you can definitely drive a lot of sales to your clothing brand and scale your clothing brand. So I'm not going to waste any of your time. Let's just hop straight into it. This is just proof that these content ideas actually generate money. I would never show you guys something that like would not help your brand out or not generate you money, but you can see here in just 10 days, this clothing brand generated $30,000 in sales just using these content strategies. And then again, we have this other clothing brand generating $90,000 in sales in just a few months. So this content strategy and these content ideas work. You just have to execute them right and make sure you have a good product to execute these ideas well. So let's just hop into the first content type, and that's going to be your Flatlay content. This is pretty much what the majority of Instagram brands or clothing brands that are on social media do. And this is a really easy content format to get into. But the thing is, with this type of content, your product has to be unique or stand out. You cannot do this content type of just a tee and it just has your logo on there. Like, no one cares about that. It's boring. The more you make your product stand out, the easier it is to do flat lay content. The mistake a lot of clothing brand owners make is, like I said, they make a very simple product. They make a product with just some text on there, or they make a product with just their logo on there, and they try to do flat lay content. It doesn't get any engagement, it doesn't get any likes, it doesn't get any comments because people just don't care. It's not unique for them to, stop scrolling. It's not unique enough for them to just stop by and be like, wow, that's really unique. But the best part of flat lay content is, honestly, this content is easily scalable, it is appealing for most potential customers. And obviously, this content format is a little bit saturated because almost every clothing brand does it. But you mix this content type with different content types in your bag, and you can scale your clothing brand easily with this type of content. And there's so many variations you can do with flat lay content. You can do voiceover, you can do an AI voiceover, you can do some quick cuts, or you can do the meaning behind your piece. Just so many reasons you can do this. And here are some examples of like some flat lay content. And like I said, the thing that all of these videos have in common is they have a unique product. You can see this product right here. It has double knees. It has long waist strings. It has a double waist with the logo on there. This one is a leopard print. It's bright. It's pink. It stands out. This one has a huge cherry blossom embroidery on the garment with along with some text right here. And then this is my brand right here. This is a reversible fur zip up. So the thing that all these flat lay videos have in common is they have a product that stands out. If you are going to do this type of content to scale your clothing brand, you need to make sure your product stands out or it has some type of feature that makes it stand out. And here I wrote down some of the things that make your flat lay content not do good. I mentioned some of it earlier, but the thing is, your product might not be interesting enough. Your video might not click with your target audience, or your lighting or pacing is just bad in the video. The thing with these flat lay videos is you don't want to overstay its welcome. These videos should generally be like 10 to 15 seconds maximum. Unless you are explaining some lore or some deeper meaning behind your piece, there's no reason for these flat lay videos to be like over 20 seconds, or at least in my case, I like to do 10 seconds because I feel like it does the job. It shows the product, it shows the details, and then it's out. People don't feel like they're getting bored of the content. People don't feel like, the video's too long. I think keeping it at 10 seconds is pretty good. Now let's move on to the second type of content, and that is behind the scenes. Behind the scenes content is so good because it just shows how you're working on your brand, on the back end. How you are you actually doing things? It will let a cold audience a reason to care about you and your brand. You are not just a brand that's just selling clothes, but you're an actual person. You're an actual like brand with meaning behind the scenes. Behind the scenes content is very good for middle of funnel. This gets people who are already kind of interested in your product to know more about your brand, know more about you, what your brand stands for or whatever. And it gives them a little bit more reason to care about what you're actually doing. So this is very good content to make for your brand. This is why I recommend that like every brand I work with, I always tell them to, record what you do behind the scenes. Make sure you record your photo shoots. Make sure, you're taking pictures of behind the scenes. Make sure you're documenting everything regarding your brand. So you have some behind the scenes content or like some things to talk about when it comes to behind the scenes of your brand. And like I said, people care about the process, not just the final results. People want to see the W's and L's of running your clothing brand. And if you get any behind the scenes of your photo shoots, pop-ups, big events, or anything involved with your brand, that is very good content that you can do in your marketing. I've seen tons of content made from behind the scenes go crazy as ads or just organic videos. And if you want to get a little bit more personal with your behind the scenes, just make a personal brand that ties in with your clothing brand. So you have your clothing brand page and then you have your personal brand. So if you have like more, personal, more in depth behind the scenes, just post it on your personal page. But I've seen tons of like general behind the scenes content for clothing brands absolutely pop off on the main clothing brand page. Now, this is just some examples of behind the scenes content right here. You have this brand right here, recording a photo shoot. They're just taking pictures, recording quick clips of what it's like behind the photo shoot, and then they show the final results of the photo shoot on their page. And then here we have Trey. He's just showing a day in a life in a clothing as a clothing brand owner. And I think these videos are really good for a personal brand page. You have your clothing brand page and then you have your personal page. I think posting this type of video on your personal page is very good because it gets people to know a little bit more behind like who's behind the brand, what does the brand owner stand for, what does the brand owner do on a day-to-day basis. And this can get, customers interested in your brand because they're now interested in you as a person. And because they're interested in you as a person, they're going to be interested in what you're doing. And what you're doing is working on your clothing brand. So they might buy something to support you. So I think having a personal brand page where you're doing something, whether you are helping other clothing brands or you're documenting your own clothing brand, I think that is very good for all clothing brand owners to have. And now here is another behind the scenes type of content. My homie Eben, he makes videos behind the scenes, and I think his content is pretty dope. He does like voiceovers, and he has like quick clips of him showing himself behind the scenes, whether he's doing a photo shoot, whether he's in his warehouse, or whether he's like, just doing something like designing for his clothing brand. I think documenting this, showing videos, showing images of you doing this stuff, and then posting the final results to your clothing brand page is very good for your brand. And this type of content is very scalable. I've seen this type of content go absolutely crazy with ads. I've seen these ads make thousands and thousands of dollars because when these videos are well done, they can drive a cold audience to actually care and check out your brand. So really don't sleep on behind the scenes. If you ever go out and do something for your brand, make sure you record and take pictures of literally everything you do. Now, the third and final type of content I want to discuss with you guys is influencers. Now, it's no secret that influencers are a huge way to completely 180 your brand. Influencers are good for building trust too, which is super important. You want to be building your social proof. You want to be making sure people actually see people in your brand. Influencers are extremely powerful when they are used right. Now, I highly recommend to only use influencers that actually get organic pull and traction. Don't fall for the influencers that has 500K followers and they get only 20 likes on their posts. You don't want to be falling for those type of people. Make sure you vet your influencers. Make sure, they are actually somebody who's pulling in viewers and engagement and people are actually interested in them. In the beginning stages of your clothing brand, I highly recommend looking for micro influencers, people with less following, but they still have a dedicated audience. I said this in my other videos, but the mistake a lot of clothing brand owners make is when they have like 20 followers, they try to go to Quan, and Quan charges like $10,000 a video. You don't want to be doing that. Quan is not even in your budget. You want to be targeting smaller micro influencers that have like 10K followers and will gladly take your clothing in exchange for making you content. All you have to do is send them your clothes and they will make you free content. You don't have to send them, thousands and thousands of dollars. You don't have to do contracts. You don't have to do anything crazy, especially because when you work with these big influencers, that's when, a lot of money, that's when a lot of things get involved that, bigger brands have the budget to work with. Now, an important thing you want to make sure is these influencers match your target audience and niche. There are so many clothing brands, they just hit up any influencer whenever possible. And these influencers half the time don't even match their target audience. They don't match their niche. And now you're getting this influencer is getting a bunch of views on the clothing piece that you sent them, but their audience literally doesn't care about you. Their audience is just like, okay, this is a cool piece, but it's not really for me. I follow this influencer because, they're showing other pieces of content, other pieces of clothing that match my aesthetic. And this piece from this brand doesn't match my aesthetic. So you need to keep in mind that these influencers, that you want them to be in your target audience and niche so you can get the maximum results out of them. Now, once you have all your influencer vids and images, you just run ads on them. A lot of people, a lot of brands, I don't know why, but they get all these influencer images and videos and they just do nothing with it. They just let the influencer post them and then that's it. No, what you want to do is you want to run ads on the videos and images because this will be driving a lot of sales. When the ads pop up on a target audience's page or whatever, they see, oh, okay, I see Quan in this hoodie. I want to be just like Quan. And because they're seeing it from an ad, they go to directly to your website and buy it. That's the best way to use influencers. If you can get the influencer's permission to run ads or the influencer's okay with you running ads on the content that they post, I would highly recommend that you run ads on the post the influencer is doing for you because This just makes everybody benefit. The influencer grows, you get your sales, you get your traffic, and like everybody benefits from this. And of course, this allows you to benefit from their organic engagement and ads at the same time, driving a crazy amount of money to your site and clothing brand if you do this properly. Now, here I have some examples of clothing brands using influencers. Here we have Tears of God. Blackboy Max wearing Tears of God hoodie, you know, the God Heals hoodie. Blackboy Max being in this hoodie is very good for this clothing brand because it drives trust, it drives engagement. You know, someone of influence is actually wearing their clothes. So this is a brand that they can trust and buy from because Blackboy Max is wearing it. So again, as you guys, I'm sure it's self-explanatory, but it should be obvious why you would want to get the influencers in your clothes. And here are some other examples. You know, this influencer rocking this zip up. And then we have Quan right here rocking this zip up from this brand right here, Still Amore. So again, influencers are very, very powerful to use, and they are very good for scaling your clothing brand. And honestly, if you can combine some of these contents together, like you can combine the influencers with the behind the scenes, you can absolutely rip for your clothing brand. If you get behind the scenes of an influencer at your photo shoot, that could be very, very good when you run ads for your clothing brand. Super, super good. And like I said, these three content types are backed by actual results and money. You can see June 30th, 2025. As I'm recording this video, it's like July 2nd. So it's only been like 2 days. But you can see this type of content made $2,000 in just one day from $387. So again, everything I tell you guys is something I'm doing right now. Like this is making money right now. And you should focus on making actual good content with these three types of content because this will drive sales to your clothing brand. This will drive traffic. This will drive followers. Like this is super duper good for your clothing brand. Like I said, June 30th, and the results are right here. Almost a 6x return on ad spend just on the day for this brand. Now, if you need more help, if you're struggling with content, you're struggling with products, you're struggling with, you know, just overall scaling your brand in general, this is what I made my free training for. Like I said in my other videos, I break down the exact system I used to take my brand to 100K in just 6 months. I'm helping 10 qualified clothing brand owners do the exact same thing as me. All you have to do is click the first link down in the description and watch the training. After I find 10 clothing brand owners, the spots will close, and that will be that. So again, thank you guys for watching my videos, guys. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe if my content helps you. Join the free Discord down below. And if you could drop a like if this content helped you, again, I would really appreciate it. And as always, I love you guys. Thank y'all so much. And comment Pringle if you made it this far. I love seeing people who watch my videos all the way through. I like seeing people who actually learn stuff from my videos. So if you made it this far, comment the word Pringle. But I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Peace.